Welcome to Mind Generation X, the channel where we transform the best books on personal growth, psychology, and success into powerful stories and practical lessons for your daily life. Today we're talking about a book that's taking the world by storm, Mel Robbins' The Let Them Theory. This isn't just a book, it's true mental liberation. Have you ever wasted time, energy, and inner peace trying to control what others think, say, or do? Mel Robbins explains how to stop chasing approval and start living by applying a simple yet revolutionary principle. Let them do it. Yes, let them. Grab a coffee or put on your headphones. In this video, I'll guide you through the deepest concepts, personal stories, common mistakes, and practical applications you can start using today. In this episode of Mind Generation X, we explore Mel Robbins' The Let Them Theory, a revolutionary book that teaches you to break free from the need for control, others' expectations, and relational stress. Discover how to stop reacting, start living for yourself, and finally say, let them. What you'll learn: why trying to control others ruins your life. How to say, let them talk, without guilt. Real-life examples to apply the theory. Common mental traps and how to avoid them. Techniques for emotional independence. If you're ready to stop suffering because of others, this video is for you. The chaos of daily life, where the theory begins. Imagine this scene. You're sitting in your car after a long day. Your phone vibrates. It's a passive-aggressive message from a family member. Once again, you feel obligated to respond, explain yourself, or fix the situation. You feel empty, frustrated. This is exactly where the Let Them theory was born. From that moment when Mel Robbins, exasperated by the constant need to explain herself, please others, and control situations, chose a simple and liberating phrase, let them. Mel Robbins shares that she developed this theory not as a philosophical or psychological strategy, but as emotional survival. When you're surrounded by people who talk, judge, demand, or behave irrationally, your first reaction is to correct, clarify, or intervene. But this comes at a cost. Every time you do this, you spend emotional energy on something you can't control. The heart of the Let Them theory. The theory is based on a fundamental concept. You cannot control others. You can't control what they think, what they say, how they behave, or what they decide. The only thing you can truly control is your reaction. So when someone acts in a way that annoys, hurts, or disappoints you, instead of reacting with anger, frustration, or anxiety, apply this simple phrase, let them do it. Let them think you're selfish. Let them speak poorly of you. Let them go out without inviting you. Let them post childish things online. You're not saying it's okay. You're simply choosing not to get emotionally involved. An act of power, not weakness. Many people think that ignoring or letting go means giving up. But Mel Robbins flips this concept. Letting others do what they do is an act of strength, not surrender. It's the gesture of someone who has learned to choose their battles. It's the move of someone who is no longer a slave to the need for approval. When you stop trying to change others, you discover how much power you have to change yourself. Family, friends, work. Real-world applications. One family. Do you have a critical mother-in-law? A parent who comments on every choice you make? Let them do it. You're not obligated to respond to every provocation. Learn to create space between the stimulus and your reaction. 2. Friends. Do you feel excluded, neglected, or forgotten? Has someone stopped inviting you as they used to? Let them do it. You don't have to beg for company. If someone distances themselves, let them go. Real relationships don't require chasing. Third, work. Competitive colleagues, intrusive bosses, passive-aggressive emails. Let them talk. Let them act insecure. Focus on your value and growth. Not everything deserves a reaction. Psychological benefits of the Let Them theory. Mel Robbins also delves into the psychological results of this approach. Reduce stress, fewer reactions, less tension, higher self-esteem. You no longer define yourself based on others' judgments. Emotional freedom. You're no longer enslaved to toxic dynamics. Mental clarity. More energy for the things that truly matter. The psychological roots of the let them theory. Mel Robbins doesn't just offer motivational advice. Behind her approach lies a deep understanding of human behavioral psychology. At the core of the let them theory is a key psychological concept: locus of control. People with an internal locus focus on what they can control, their own actions and reactions, while those with an external locus tend to worry about things outside their control, others' opinions, external events, judgments. The let them theory invites you to shift your focus to an internal locus, where you regain the power to decide who you are, regardless of what happens externally. Another pillar is the mechanism of emotional triggers. When someone says or does something that hurts you, your reaction is often automatic and instinctive. But Robbins teaches you to interrupt this reactive cycle. How? Through awareness, detachment, and intentionality. When you train yourself to let go, you train yourself to breathe instead of react. Real-life case studies. When saying let them changes everything. Case 1, the frustrated entrepreneur. A woman told Mel she felt constantly sabotaged by her team. She wanted to control every detail for fear of being judged as incompetent. By applying the let them theory, she stopped trying to please everyone, allowed her team to voice criticisms, and focused on leadership based on values, not reactions. Result: more respect and less stress. Case 2, the invisible daughter. A young woman suffered from her parents' indifference, who were increasingly absent. Instead of constantly chasing their attention, she decided to let them be who they are. This opened the door to a new type of relationship, more sincere and less rooted in toxic expectations. Case 3, the husband who wouldn't change. A woman was exasperated by her husband's behavior: disorganized, always late, distracted. After years of trying to change him, she tried the let them theory. She stopped trying to educate him and began working on herself, consciously choosing how to react. The paradox: her husband slowly began to change. Not because he was forced, but because he was inspired. Techniques to apply the let them theory. 1. The let them mantra. When you feel irritated by someone, stop, take a deep breath, and repeat mentally, let them. Missed appointment? Let them. Provocative social media post? Let them. Unfair behavior? Let them. This mantra becomes an anchor that brings you back to calm. 2. The control journal. Every evening write 3 things you tried to control today, 3 things you could have let go, 1 thing you decided to say, let them. Writing strengthens awareness and trains you in detachment. 3. The circle of control. Draw 2 concentric circles. In the inner circle, write what you can control: your words, your time, your reactions. In the outer circle, write what you can't control: others' thoughts, the past, the weather. Look at it every day. Visualize where to put your energy. Most common mistakes to avoid: 1. Confusing. Let them. With indifference. Letting others act doesn't mean becoming apathetic or cold. It means choosing where to invest your emotional energy, not ignoring problems. If something matters to you, you can address it, but without reacting from a place of anxiety or anger. 2. Using let them to avoid confrontation. Let them isn't an excuse to avoid dialogue. It's about reducing reactivity so you can engage from a centered, clear-headed place. 3. Applying it only when convenient. This theory only works if you make it a lifelong philosophy. It must become second nature, not just a temporary motivational quote. Results in daily life. When you apply the let them theory, here's what truly happens. You become more present. You stop living in others' heads. You become more authentic. You don't live to meet external expectations. You become freer. You let go of the need for validation. You become more powerful. You reclaim your time, energy, and direction. Your time is too precious to spend chasing what you can't change. Healthy relationships. The art of letting go to connect better. One of the most revolutionary aspects of the let them theory is that it actually improves relationships instead of damaging them. Mel Robbins explains this with a powerful insight. When you stop trying to change others, they stop defending themselves. This simple phrase unlocks a hard truth. Often it's us, with our silent expectations and pressures, who trigger conflicts and resistance. By applying let them, you free yourself from the need to control or fix your partner, friend, or colleague. You give others space to show their true selves, for better or worse. You create relationships built on freedom and choice, not fear or dependency. Practical example. In a romantic relationship, instead of thinking, why aren't they texting me? You can say, let them not text. I'll focus on what I feel and want, regardless of them. This shift restores your power and emotional dignity. It allows you to choose, not beg. Personal boundaries, the true meaning of freedom. Mel Robbins emphasizes that let them isn't just a philosophy, it's a personal protection strategy. Living in constant reactivity, trying to please everyone drains you. With let them, you no longer need to explain every choice. You no longer justify what makes you happy. You no longer need to save anyone. Let them talk. Let them judge. Let them think they know who you are. You know the truth. Personal boundaries become strong not when you enforce them by shouting, but when you respect them yourself, without bending out of fear of losing someone. Final reflection, a light and powerful life. The let them theory leads to an invisible but profound transformation. It doesn't change what others do. It changes the meaning you assign to their actions. And when you change the meaning, you change your reality. You realize that you're calmer even in chaos. You're more present even when others don't understand you. You're truer to yourself even if you lose others' favor. True freedom isn't doing what you want. It's breaking free from others' expectations. If this message resonated with you, let this philosophy into your life. Let others be who they are. And above all, let yourself finally be free. Subscribe now for weekly content that transforms how you think, act, and live. Like this video if you believe inner freedom is true wealth. Comment below, in what situation could you apply let them starting today?